Maya, the elephant, was experiencing her second pregnancy. But this time, labor was prolonged and arduous. After enduring hours of pain and distress, she finally gave birth. The park staff, eager to catch a glimpse of the newborn, craned their necks, but their excitement quickly turned to shock. Gasps and cries of disbelief echoed through the air at the sight before them. At Mbeli National Park in Kenya, the staff had been closely monitoring Maya, knowing she was nearing the end of her pregnancy. Unlike her first pregnancy 2 years earlier, which had barely seemed to affect her, this time she carried heavily, moving clumsily as though struggling to adjust to her growing form. Her discomfort had been evident, prompting the caretakers to remain vigilant, ensuring they were ready when her time arrived. The moment came with little warning. Maya began pacing and trumpeting loudly, a clear signal that labor had begun. However, it soon became evident that this birth would be far more challenging than her previous one. Hours passed as she cried out in agony, seeking comfort from her herd and the staff watching anxiously. She rubbed herself against trees, trying to ease the pain, but nothing seemed to help. The slow progression of labor only heightened everyone's concern. Her cries carried through the air, echoing off the cliffs and drawing unwanted attention from predators and scavengers lurking nearby, hoping for an easy meal. Fortunately, Maya's herd instinctively formed a protective circle around her, their massive bodies creating a barrier against any potential threats. The park staff stood by, watching with bated breath, ready to intervene if necessary. The on-call veterinarian monitored her closely, prepared to step in should the situation worsen. Then suddenly Maya went completely silent. The tension in the air was unbearable. After several long, agonizing minutes, a scout cautiously approached to check on her. What he saw sent him stumbling back in astonishment. His frantic calls of disbelief brought the rest of the team running. The sight before them was nothing short of miraculous. Maya had given birth to twins. The sheer rarity of such an event left everyone in awe. The birth of twin elephants was an almost unheard-of phenomenon, with the last recorded case dating back to 1980. It was suddenly clear why Maya's pregnancy had been so challenging. She had been carrying 2 calves instead of 1. The initial shock quickly gave way to excitement, but it was soon replaced with concern. In the wild, twin births were rare for a reason. Elephants are not naturally equipped to care for 2 calves at once, and often, one of the twins is left behind due to the sheer difficulty of providing for both. The staff feared that Maya might struggle to nurse and nurture both of her newborns. Their concern deepened when they noticed the reaction of Maya's firstborn. Her older calf seemed anything but pleased with the arrival of her twin brothers, while the rest of the herd curiously approached the newborns with gentle nudges and affectionate gestures. The older sibling stood apart, her demeanor tense. Instead of the warm, welcoming behavior typical of elephant families, she scowled at the calves, stomping her feet in irritation and even mock-charging at them. The staff was uneasy, but they knew they could not interfere. In a national park, nature had to take its course. All they could do was observe and hope for the best. Maya, exhausted from labor, lacked the energy to discipline her daughter, but fortunately the herd stepped in. Elephants are highly social creatures, and older members of the group often take on caretaking roles. One of the elder females gently pulled the agitated juvenile away from her mother and siblings, soothing her with gentle touches of her trunk. Slowly, she calmed down, much to the relief of the onlookers. The staff felt a collective sigh of relief. At least for now, the newborns were safe. As the sun began to rise, the park staff continued their watchful observation, eager to see the twins' first movements. Watching newborn elephants attempt to stand was always a heartwarming sight. Their wobbly legs, much too large for their tiny bodies, made them look like clumsy dancers struggling to find their balance. One of the twins, slightly larger and sturdier than his sibling, managed to lift himself onto his feet. He took a few shaky steps forward before plopping back onto his bottom. Determined, he tried again, his movements unsteady but full of determination. His chunky stature only made the struggle more endearing. With each passing moment, the herd embraced the newborns, their trunks reaching out to offer support. The park staff, despite their initial concerns, couldn't help but feel a deep sense of wonder at the rare and extraordinary event unfolding before them. Maya's struggle had been immense, but the result was nothing short of miraculous. The birth of the twins was more than just a rare phenomenon. It was a symbol of resilience, a testament to the unbreakable bonds of elephant families. The staff knew that challenges lay ahead, but for now, they allowed themselves to bask in the beauty of the moment, witnessing the first steps of two little miracles who had already defied the odds. The staff could already envision him growing into a towering, dominant bull one day. His brother, however, was struggling, his tiny legs trembling as he fought to lift himself for the very first time. He was giving it his all, but his strength simply wasn't enough. His little head bobbed up and down as he tried to tuck his feet beneath him, but he remained grounded. This continued for what felt like an eternity, a grueling half-hour before he gave in, exhausted. From their vantage point, the park rangers could see the toll it had taken on him. Understandable as it was, his weakness was cause for great concern. Things were not looking promising for twin number 2. Meanwhile, his brother awkwardly strutted about like any healthy newborn. He trotted toward their mother, letting out soft moans and intertwining his trunk with hers. The affectionate display was heartwarming. Maya responded by ushering him closer and began nursing him. Yet, even as she cared for him, the staff could see her eyes darting around, searching for her second baby. This wise and intuitive mother knew she had 2 calves to tend to. When Maya spotted her second baby lying motionless in the grass, worry overtook her. Despite her exhaustion, she forced herself to her feet and stumbled over to him. Nudging him, gently with her trunk, she let out a series of soft, concerned noises. The rest of the herd noticed and slowly began to gather, moving closer to investigate. They greeted the lively twin with warm gestures, touching him as they passed. But when they reached his weaker brother, their demeanor shifted. Their calls turned low and sorrowful. They stood behind Maya in a silent show of solidarity, offering her comfort. Another mother in the herd stepped forward, momentarily leaving her own calf behind to assist. Together, she and Maya used their trunks to encourage the little one to stand. But still, he barely responded. Anyone watching could see the distress growing in the 2 mothers. Maya, in particular, grew frantic. She began flapping her ears fiercely, a clear sign of frustration. The herd picked up on her distress, and soon, the entire group became restless. The atmosphere had changed. Unease spread among them. For the park staff, it was heartbreaking to witness, but they knew they couldn't interfere. This was nature's way, and they had to let it unfold. The second twin lay there unmoving, while the herd seemed to brace themselves for what they believed was inevitable. In the wild, an animal that cannot stand is as good as lost. It was a cruel but undeniable reality. Just as it seemed all hope was slipping away, something remarkable happened. It was as if the little elephant finally understood. His family was not going to give up on him. No matter how difficult, they would support him in any way they could. With a newfound determination, he mustered every ounce of his strength and tried once more. He rocked his body, pushing himself upward, and just when it seemed he would collapse again, something unexpected happened. As the little elephant lifted his body slightly off the ground, his mother reached out and wrapped her trunk around him, steadying him. This sudden act startled him, but it also ignited a spark. With her support, he remained upright, and when she finally let go, he managed to stay on his feet. The joy was instant. His mother's help had given him the confidence he needed, and at last he took his very first steps. Though he was slower and far less steady than his brother, he was moving, and that was all that mattered. The entire valley seemed to shift in mood. For the first time since the twins' birth, there was hope. The herd erupted in celebration, trumpeting in triumph. This was the first great challenge of the twins' lives, and they had overcome it together. In unison, the elephants lifted their trunks skyward and let out a harmonious chorus, announcing to the world that their youngest members had survived. The park staff, watching from a distance, felt a profound sense of joy. They had just witnessed something truly rare and magnificent. Not everyone could claim to have seen the birth of twin elephants, let alone such a heartwarming display of unity and resilience within a herd. When the staff returned to camp and shared what they had seen, their colleagues could hardly believe them. At first, many assumed it was some kind of joke, but when shown the blurry images of the twin elephants, jealousy spread through the camp. No one wanted to miss out on something so incredible. By the next morning, nearly everyone insisted on returning to the site where the twins had been born. Sure enough, when they arrived, they were met with the sight of the two tiny calves. Even from a distance, it was easy to tell them apart. Without hesitation, one of the staff members reached for their camera, capturing a beautiful photograph of the miracle twins, an image that would forever remind them of this once-in-a-lifetime moment. The staff member who captured the touching moment of the twin elephants couldn't resist sharing it on social media. He wanted the world to witness the miracle of their birth and the deep bond already forming between the herd and the babies. To his astonishment, the images spread like wildfire, gaining thousands of reactions and heartwarming comments. However, the post also attracted attention that the park would have rather avoided. Amboseli National Park in Kenya was a prime destination for wildlife enthusiasts, particularly those fascinated by elephants. Home to over 1,600 of these majestic creatures, the park saw countless visitors eager to witness them in their natural habitat. As the twin elephants' story circulated across social media, tourists began clamoring for a glimpse of the rare newborns. While attention was generally beneficial for conservation efforts, it also posed a serious threat. Poachers and trophy hunters were now aware that two highly valuable calves were roaming the park, still vulnerable on their unsteady legs. Recognizing the danger, the park authorities quickly ramped up security. They were all too familiar with the grim reality of elephant poaching. In 2017 alone, the park had lost 10 elephant calves to various threats, including disease and illegal traps. Poaching was an ongoing battle, and finding elephants injured or killed was an unbearable sight for the rangers. To combat these risks, over 300 scouts from the local community were employed to patrol the land and safeguard its precious inhabitants. When the scouts learned about the twin calves, they made their protection a top priority. They spent hours monitoring the newborns, not just for safety, but also to assess their well-being. It was thanks to their vigilance that they noticed troubling signs in the weaker twin. Though he had seemed fine at first, his movements became sluggish, and his behavior showed signs of distress. Concerned, the scouts contacted the park's veterinarian and urged him to conduct an examination. The following day, the vet arrived at the reserve, eager to assess the struggling calf. However, getting close proved to be a challenge. The entire herd had formed a protective shield around the baby, instinctively guarding him from perceived threats. The elephants didn't realize that the vet had come with only good intentions. From a distance, he initially declared that the calf seemed fine, but as the baby moved, it became evident that something was wrong. The vet's concern deepened. The calf was weak and failing to thrive, yet intervening in nature's course was a difficult ethical dilemma. Still, he had a gut feeling that action was necessary. After obtaining approval from the Wildlife Commission, he cautiously approached the elephant, hoping to provide aid without disturbing the herd's natural dynamic. Upon closer inspection, he determined that the calf needed nutritional support. A simple injection of supplements could significantly boost his strength, but administering it would be no easy feat. As the vet and his team prepared to help, the calf panicked. He had never encountered humans up close, and the sight of a stranger carrying a large needle sent him into a frightened frenzy. He stumbled around on his wobbly legs, circling in a desperate attempt to escape. Normally, tranquilizer darts would be used in such situations, but the vet needed to measure the calf's weight to ensure the correct dosage. Despite the difficulty, the baby elephant's frantic movements were a positive sign. His alertness indicated strong neurological function. Eventually, the vet managed to administer the injection and encourage the calf to keep moving, knowing that physical activity would aid his recovery. Over the next few days, the vet continued working with the little elephant, engaging him in playful therapy sessions. Soon, the calf's older sister began mimicking the exercises, transforming the therapy into a sibling bonding experience. Though she had initially resented the twins' birth, she now fully embraced her role as a big sister, thrilled to have new playmates. Thanks to the vet's careful intervention and Maya's relentless dedication, the weaker twin gradually regained his strength. Before long, he was keeping pace with the rest of the herd, no longer requiring extra care. The park staff celebrated the incredible recovery, and visitors flocked to see the rare set of twins thriving in their natural habitat. Did you enjoy this story? Have you ever witnessed twin animals before? What are your thoughts on human intervention in the wild? Should we step in to help struggling animals or let nature take its course? Let us know in the comments below. If you loved this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible wildlife tales. This heartwarming story was made possible through luck, perseverance, and teamwork. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Have a great day.